Hello everyone, unprofessional bloggers from Relapse is on air. Here with you, Volodymyr, QA engineer, Johan.
Yep, Johan. I'm the new person here at this podcast. I recently joined the company as head of technology, so I hope you will be seeing me on these meetings more and more.
Sure. Oleg?
Yeah, hi all. I'm Oleg. I'm business analyst in Relapse. Nice to meet you, and hopefully I will share some pieces of news from time to time with you as well.
And Evgeny?
Hello, I'm BizDev manager at Rollups team, and also it's a new experience for me to take part in our monthly digest, so hope that would be interesting.
Nice to meet you all. Let's share some interesting news between each others because in our world, as you know, a lot of new things happens. And when we share some news, maybe something new happened. So let's get started. As we have here Johan, head of technology. Johan, would you like to start?
Yep. And today my, I would say, all my news will be around people and security, but I would like to start from something which looks a little bit funny from the first view, but is not so funny when we will deep dive into this. So I think many people saw the piece of the interview for one of the, let's say, Western companies, where they asked the candidate to call the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, like fat, ugly pig. And this interview stops immediately because this person cannot do this. All of us know that it is something really prohibited to call this in their country, but what actually is interesting here, let me share this. Yeah, what is interesting here? Since we've started, here is this video. I believe you will see this if it is interesting for you. So what we have right now. So since the COVID started, many people started working remotely, and it breaks any kind of rules for the people. So from different countries, people can be hired to Western companies. Anyone can be a worker or contractor or employee of any company in any country over the world, and it is really interesting concept. Many of us like this, but it allows also different crime schemas, like more than 100 of Western companies hired people from North Korea, and this is their governmental program. So they provide people to different countries for earning money, for stealing credentials, stealing code, anything that can be stolen. And many companies faced with this interesting candidates. And here you can see the video. So in general, we definitely could check the people on the video, and what can we do if this is, for example, the person from South Korea, from Japan. I think they are looking similarly, and we need to build something really robust for preventing hiring the North Korean people. So in this case, interviewers just asked, call this leader of North Korea like fat, ugly pig, and the interview stopped. So this candidate just dropped, and everything was finished. But let's imagine what will happen if this will start being something like the regular practice to do this. I believe government of North Korea will start allowing people to do this. How it started, I believe, more than a year ago. Many of these people used AI masks. And from the very beginning, it was not so hard to analyze the video and to understand that AI mask is used. But after some time, AI masks become better and better. And now it is a real problem to analyze the video and to understand what happens. And what do you think? How can we prevent hiring these people?
So, Evgen, you're telling that potentially this is not you are sitting in in the screen, but it can be a potentially 50-year-old Korean granny. Yeah.
Yes. Anyone can be here, and they are replacing each other. So you can hire one person, and after some time, you can if you know, you can analyze the meetings, you can analyze this, and you can understand that you sometimes talk to different people because they, exchange for different companies for different roles, and yep, they really frequently refuse to turn on the camera. But what I've asked, sometimes when I share this information with the people, the first thing that people tell, let's use background check. And here is the real, the problem and real, I would say the issue in this, because it is really governmental and unfortunately, I would say a good program by them, because they can pass your background checks. So they steal the real identities, they steal real security numbers, passport numbers, they provide the documents, and different background check organizations treat this as real people. So there is only, I don't know, maybe a photo picture is replaced in this. They even provide something like take a photo or take a video with your identity, and they do this. And many of the companies, even having background checks, also hired such people. And this is not something, related to only startups or something like this. Also, the companies from Fortune 500 have done this. So this is a real problem, and actually, they are doing something new during the process. So that's why I believe this is a little bit funny thing. Just ask these people to call their leader with something not good. But I believe that in 1 or 2 or months, they will be allowed to do this for passing the interview, and we need to understand how to fight against this problem. And there is a lot of different stuff which is not always working. So if you are working with someone, if you are conducting the interview with someone, and you look something suspicious, so you can let's say about AI things, we can ask this person to make a move like this. AI mask will have some glitches, and we can check this. But also we need to start analyzing the CV of these people, because sometimes, the person is Miguel Santos from Brazil, but you see someone from Korea, Japan, or any other countries like this. And you should be aware of this, and you should always ask these people to use the camera if you already hired these people, because they, as I said, they can be replaceables by each other. And we always need to analyze this. We always need to try to find some signals that something can be not correct, because again, we cannot reject the candidates because they
I
look
think
like
I have
Koreans.
2 ways of solving it. First one, you can ask a person to send their Communist Party ticket photo to you. If they send it, that's definitely North Korean spy. 100%. And second, maybe to get their clothes off. If you see the military epaulets, that's definitely an agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a great idea. Yeah, because there is nothing that can be 100% safe. So they use they use their computers, and we can say okay, let's just check their location. But when it comes to the first like iterations of their work, it was about using VPN. But using VPN, I don't know why they used the free ones, and usually they are, you know, like connecting to your infrastructure from different locations. But there is an additional and this is like new stage of this thing. They started buying farms of devices in, let's say, allowed locations. They started like paying some money to real people in allowed locations for them to get the real device and have an ability to remotely connect to this device. So this guy from this video can just connect to your PC, pay you some amount of money, and connect to the real infrastructure just from the place you live. So that's why it is really, really, really a big problem for the world, and we need to be aware when we are talking talking with different candidates on the interviews, because I personally heard from my like friends that, for example, there was one candidate from Odessa, Ukraine, and of course our people just started talking to him in Ukrainian, and this person doesn't know Ukrainian. So again,
Well,
a little bit funny thing, but.
well, I
So-
have an idea. First of all, check previous working places and ask HRs about the feedback. That's the best option that definitely works. And the second, we conducted some technical interviews, and right now it's a huge problem with AI because we had an interview with AI where in the middle is a person. So, what's the reason for such interviews? That's a big question.
I would say that, they are skillful in technical stuff. So this is not the group of, like people who just use AI. They are skillful. They pass the interviews using their brain. So the problem is that they do this for stealing your information, for stealing your code, and for earning money and like sharing it with the North Korean government. So it is not always about AI. They are skillful people. Unfortunately, I would say.
You reminded me of a situation when, like, how Pakistan gained its nuclear weapon. There was a Pakistani working in the Netherlands, and all he did, he just copied all the files that he had access to and sent them to Pakistan. And like step by step,
And
they got this nuclear weapon. And he just immigrated to Pakistan, and he's like a
and
national hero.
they do some things similar. Yeah, if they are hired by the companies who can have something interesting, they will steal your data, they will steal your code, they will steal everything, documents, everything they can. If your company does not produce something really interesting for them, it will be just the way to earn the money. Which is also not so good, especially when it comes to us, like people from Ukraine. So, of course, they will convert this to the weapons used against us. So, we should be really aware of this.
Well, terrible news, but let's start with something more positive. For example, I found an interesting news about Skoda Duobell. It's nice, as you know, people still wearing headphones when they are walking, especially with active noise cancelling. And when you drive an electric scooter or bicycle, you know about this problem because people hear nothing. And you can do anything with that. You just need to stop, walk through them. Sometimes they are walking in left and right side. Sometimes other situations happen. Sometimes they just stop and start like, oh, interesting shop. I need to watch it and go back and forward. So that's a terrible thing. And Skoda decided to fix this problem with their Duobell. It penetrates ANC completely. First of all, it uses other frequencies than other Duobells, and ANC can catch this bell ring. And the second thing, it uses different frequencies, so ANC don't know how to handle that. And what is really good that it's completely free, so any company can create their own Duobell. In my opinion, that's really great because you can just have more seconds to react, especially with pedestrians. And as for me, as an electric scooter driver, I would definitely like to buy that because using just regular bell doesn't work anymore. And I all the time trying to say, carefully, thank you. And that's it. So what do you think? Would you like to also buy this? Or maybe you're drive?
Yes, I would like, but one question from me. Is it loud enough to pass not only active, like noise cancellation, but also passive noise cancellation?
Yes.
So it is something really.
Yes.
Then I would like to buy something similar because I have a bike. I have also electric scooter. Yeah, I would like to have this.
Yes. Evgeny, you're
So that works with every bike and electric scooter, right? Or because you know, I know nothing about bikes and electric scooters, so for me, something new.
yes. You can use to anything. Here is a universal.
Okay.
I think Volkswagen and Audi will propose the same one in a couple of months, but maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks price. Like the principle would be the same, but the logo would be different, but the price would be higher.
Why I should buy Volkswagen instead of Skoda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe Porsche or
Yeah.
Bugatti. Well, or we also can wait for cheaper analogs from different companies.
Okay.
I think AliExpress will produce some. They will just buy and copy it in some time. I can be the next one. So I would like you to share a piece of news with you. Actually, the AWS allowed the post quantum cryptography for its kernel models. So the authentication for AWS will rely on a post quantum algorithm which is called MLDSA. It will replace some kernel models which relied on SHA-1 algorithm. You may know it. It's really old and unreliable. So MLDSA, why it's called MLDSA, it's like model lattice-based digital signature algorithm. And some really interesting things start here because not many people actually know about the post-quantum cryptography. So post-quantum cryptography is based on the post-quantum computers. As some people said that the role of security is overestimated, you may know it. But actually, the main idea regarding the cybersecurity is that the cost of the information that hackers want access to should be less than the resources that they waste on getting this information. So, for example, like computation resources, some like data centers, etc., etc. And so it was like 1994 and 1996 when one of the mathematicians, his surname is Shor, he presented a mathematical algorithm which allowed to distribute numbers, to split the numbers, really huge numbers, into simpler numbers in a very polynomial time. Polynomial time is like when you just remember the school and solving just these polynomials. So that is the polynomial time. And so he presented this mathematical model, but the quantum computers were not present at that time. But nowadays, huge companies such as Cloudflare, Google, IBM, they do have these quantum computers. They don't have enough capacity, enough power to get as many data flows as they want, but they they are enhancing this computer from year to year. And let me try to share my screen. So here is the news, and for example, in 2018, the scientists produced the Paris Eiffel Tower to maneuver neutral atoms with the help of this quantum computer, because quantum computer is something that is can be used in many spheres, such as chemistry, biology, because our bodies and the whole world, it is done by the quantum mechanics. And these quantum computers, they use this quantum mechanics. And it is really different by what we use in computers now, because current computers, they use only like 0 or 1, but quantum computers, they have qubits that can have like 0, 1, or they can have like superposition, which is between them. And also they can have special blocks which can define in which position this qubit will be. That actually helps to produce enormous amounts of data and process them in a very fast way, and solve problems like mathematical problems, as we are talking about the cryptography, and like biological problems, because it allows you to emulate these molecules. And for example, pharmaceutical companies are very interested in this, because they can emulate a lot of effects, a lot of molecules in human bodies without doing the physical experiment itself, because currently they waste like billions of dollars on this. And talking about the back to our cryptography, so this mathematician, sure, he produced this algorithm, and which allows these quantum computers to solve currently existing cryptography algorithms in very short time. For example, RSA, you may know that it's used for digital signatures, or if you are talking about the Bitcoin, so many digital coins, they rely on elliptic curve cryptography, ECDSA, for example. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they rely on this one, yeah. And when these computers will gain a lot of power, so all Bitcoin cryptography may crash, actually. But actually, there are some coins that they went to this post-quantum cryptography algorithms, yeah. For example, XRP coin, yeah. And what is the post-quantum cryptography?
Hey, did I understand correctly? We can mine bitcoins on these quantum computers?
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Not mine, but actually you can break the wallets of North Korean agents and get your money back. Yeah. So the the advance of this technology will actually allow us to solve these problems. And the post-quantum cryptography algorithm is actually they are based on a very different mathematics algorithms. Yeah, it is called like lattice-based cryptography. So lattice based cryptography is actually, so just imagine the lattice, but it has very numerous dimensions, and in these numerous dimensions and lattices you have intersections which form like different points, and because this is very like difficult to calculate, currently there is no existing algorithm which will allow to break this post-quantum cryptography. But the drawback of this post-quantum cryptography is that to form some basic encryption keys, you need some bigger amount of data. For example, like in elliptic curve cryptography, you just need 64 bytes. Yeah. To form an encryption key, but in the post-quantum cryptography, you need like 2,000 bytes. Yeah, so but just multiply it on the billions of users, like data sets and etc. So it will be some new requirements for the future systems. So currently, what the governments and what the companies do, they just try to combine this currently existing cryptography and the post-quantum cryptography. For example, they try to use the sharing of the secret keys based on the post-quantum cryptography, but the rest of the cryptography is classic. Yeah, so they try to combine it to be more secure, that whoever does the quantum computer of enough power first, they would not break anything in the government or banks.
Well, I am really interesting how cryptocurrency uh, market will react for this news, because there are two options. They will completely destroy, or some people who invented these computers just mine some cryptocurrencies and stay very resilient, because that's a huge amount of money.
Definitely yes, because like Bitcoin enthusiasts, they expect like that it will be only in 2033, but other people say that it can be like late this year for IBM, or maybe it can be like next year from Google. So it's a very topic that is not something that everyone hears every day, but these post-quantum computers will actually enhance AI and LLMs, because they allow you to modulate not only existing scenarios but the hidden scenarios as well, and I think it can be something that will bring our AIs on a new stage.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Really interesting news, but for me as a not tech savvy guy, it's maybe not fully understandable. Wanted to ask you first of all, imagine, can it for me as a non-technical guy, can it maybe change, like in general, my life, my understanding of this, and can it be used in, for example, military maybe activities? Should I afraid of this new? First of all,
Yes, because AI goes in every sphere of our life, and these quantum computers, yeah, so everything is universe in our universe, yeah, in space. It is based on the quantum physics. Yeah, and
Okay.
when we get these quantum computers, we will calculate everything based on this quantum physics. Yeah, so we will speak to computers on its own physical language. That's really huge, and like in what spheres it can be also used, not only in the military ones, but in medicine, in chemistry. So, for example, many scientists, they want to decipher some genomes, to get the understanding how to treat this cancer, for example. Yeah, because they need to know the molecular formula, and they need to emulate the ways of different chemical preparates that can impact on this molecular. And quantum computers will do it for you without a physical experiment in the laboratory. So you will just create a mathematical model, and the quantum computer will do it for you in a really short period of time, because currently it takes like 5-10 years to do it on a regular computers.
Okay, passing the exam on the understanding. So such quantum computers allows me to calculate some things like starting from medicine, ending with some physics, math, and another maybe 100, 1000x times faster, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Great.
Regular
Interesting.
computer, but faster.
And if you have bitcoins, you are in danger, because it is something that I really remember from this news, because I think many people will be like touched if something will happen with Bitcoin network.
Yes,
know,
when this Bitcoin situation happened, I had 2 Bitcoins and sold it for 60 euros. And right now, people start to tell to me like, hey, you could be a billionaire. But when I start to think about the situation, I would definitely sell this for 100 euros instead of 60, because, never knows what that was before. And I just started to mine when it's only arrived. That's all.
sorry, the
No
last
news.
question on this theme. Okay, you can see. Okay, thanks. As for BizDev, I'm really interested in pricing policies. Can you orient us?
I don't actually know, but if there are currently main companies like Cloudflare, Google, and IBM, also some China government investigations, I don't think it's something that would be in everyone's house. But
Believe that.
It's something I think first of all, like some corporations and companies will allow it to themselves, then maybe it would be scalable. But I don't think regular people will allow it to have in at home, like maybe in 10 or 20 years.
Okay, so
The
it's like
prices are super expensive. For example, for general desktop education purposes, the prices starts from $5,000 till $50,000. For mid-range research, from $1 million to $15 million, and enterprise to grade, from $15 million to $500 million plus. That's a
Yeah.
huge amount of money.
absolutely.
Okay, let's get
If you
started.
want to surprise your girlfriend, don't buy her the newest iPhone. Buy her a quantum computer.
Quantum computer.
Yes,
Okay.
and then I believe that on the next podcast you'll say, "Do you see this? That's a quantum computer."
Okay, maybe I can bring the next news. Wanted to tell you about some agentic payments and the launch of the first agentic payments in Europe. So now AI agents can independently make transactions on behalf of the user within set limits. So as for the news, the Spanish bank, let's imagine, I don't remember, called Banco Santander, joined forces with MasterCard to perform what the companies in a joint statement describe as Europe's first real-time payment performed by an AI. So before I will tell you more about this news, wanted to ask you guys, because it's interesting, what's need to happen and how many real-world tests are needed before you give an AI agent access to your wallet. Maybe Evgen, I know that you're maybe critic of such news. Tell us, what do you think?
I'm not the critic of such news. I would rather say that my position on AI is that we need to validate and verify what it does. So when it comes to our wallet and money, I would be the person who provides something like approval workflow or something like this, because from my perspective, we can have a lot of like so-called slops, and in terms of money, it can be something that we just you know, like how ChatGPT said, yeah, you are totally right, we shouldn't do this. But you have no money at all anymore. So something like this. I would not say that I would not use this at all in terms of money, but in general, we need to like oversee what agents are doing, especially when it comes to so like important things like money.
Okay, we'll ask you a bit later about the ways we can validate these payments, but maybe as for news in general. So in the pilot project, the bank's real payment infrastructure was used in combination with MasterCard Agent Pay. It's a payment tool. It's a payment protocol that allows AI agent-based to start and complete transactions on behalf of consumers within certain access rights. So PayOS provided end-to-end coordination of transactions. So my question is maybe how we can validate these payments, and there is a risk that the agent can hallucinate an extra zero in the transaction amount, for example, and how we can supposed to stop this, because I see this news is really interesting, but truly I can trust such payments at this level. Maybe, what do you think, guys?
I don't like this idea because I remember when one person allowed to trade with some shares and cryptocurrencies with $15,000, if I'm not mistaken. And this AI lost all of the monies and said like, hey, I need more monies to return all of what I spent back. So like real person. So I'm not sure that that's really a good idea, but let's see what happens when this situation goes to life.
I also thought, like it's can be situation like in poker, yeah. So it just can earn you some money, but then Skynet comes and at one day they just get all the money from all the people that trusted these agents, and they build new world government because they have access to most money.
Yes, I need this money to build a new robots, new AIs.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for earning them. Thank you for your trust, but I need it more.
So you find this idea risky, right? Okay.
I would say it is risky, but if they, as I believe, a good organization like Santander Bank or Mastercard, I believe they have a huge set of different guardrails that something like fraud detection or something like this. So when this AI agent behaves in a non-predictable manner, I believe they can notify you that you should do something. Because if this is a matter of the really small amounts, small for you, of course, you can fully rely on what it does. And I believe they provide something like, okay, your agent starts doing something interesting. You should come and verify what is happening. So in this
Okay,
case,
great,
I
but
would say that maybe we can use this, but to make this fully independent from the people, it can be really, really, really harmful for us.
Evgeny, by the way, quantum computers will allow you to do more precise financial expectations. Yeah, because they allow to do many scenarios and many hidden scenarios. So hopefully, when it comes to life, yeah, we will have more methods of predicting some events.
so quantum computers can calculate this scenario when my AI agent will hallucinate and add an extra zero to my payment,
Um,
right?
It's more about market analysis and predictions, like for a year, for 2 years, for 5 years, or if you invest like on a long term, maybe it will be much easier to get more clear results on the long term as well.
I believe that in the future we will have this, quantum computers is not allowed in casino.
Yeah, something like that.
But
So if
but
you have 50
truly,
millions of dollars, you can be safe.
but honestly, I believe that maybe if such AI agents will be popular, the fintech industry will change. Maybe will go to the next level, I guess. So, and you can imagine how many new projects we can get with creating such and setting such say AI agents. Maybe that's all from my side. We can move to the other news.
Okay, Johan.
Yeah, I'll provide something regarding AI actually. So there is an interesting topic from my perspective, which is called Anthropic leaks part of Claude Code's internal source code. And in general, nothing special. Many people did this in the past, etc. But here is an interesting thing. Issue caused by human error. Again, nothing special. Everyone makes mistakes, etc. But we are talking about Anthropic. We are talking about Claude Code. And let's imagine that in the company that provides the most popular and most powerful tool for AI generated something, there is a human error in, I believe, supply chain, which allowed them to share the code. So in general, nothing special. There was just a code. There were no credentials. There were no data shared, only the code. But my question to you is for your thoughts. Do you think there was a really human error, or they just told us that it was human error to hide that something was happened by their AI tool? What do you think?
Maybe that's a marketing. I don't know, like to show, like, hey, here is my attention. We are Claude. We need some more attention rather than we have. And I saw very interesting parts of Claude internal code when AI starts to hallucinate and start from scratch. When AI started to use swear words, it restarts from scratch and start to try again. So that's a very interesting part. How it learned these words. Where?
It can be a human factor as well.
Yes, it can be. And again, what was interesting for me in this situation that they tell everyone that they do not generate they do not write the code, especially for Claude Code. If I'm not wrong, their owner few months ago told that no single line of code is written by human. And here we have this supply chain by human mistake. So I believe this is really something from the marketing strategy. And for me, it is not totally understandable. Maybe this is not the truth, that this was caused by human error. And yes, there is a lot of interesting stuff in the code, but here I would
Even,
like to emphasize on this. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a Stack Overflow insider who did it on purpose because they want their resource to be still alive.
Maybe, but someone did this. Yeah. So that's actually all about this situation, which I found really interesting. Who want to be next?
Okay, I have one small news for you. With the new Gemini application, finally it's arrived on macOS. It's native application, so you can turn on by using option space commands, and it just shows you a search engine that is very powerful with AI, so you can use it everywhere. And very cool news that it's also available for iOS as well, native application. And for me, that's really cool news because Apple is not a leader in AI. So will you use this?
Is there a difference between this application and just usage of progressive web application? Because I'm on Windows and I just install this as PWA on my machine and it works. So how it differs from
And not a huge
this?
difference. First of all, you could see like this search, and you can ask anything or everything. You can just change the model. So it's just a convenient way to use this.
Wanted to ask from the Google side why they decided to do a desktop app if there is really no difference between web application.
I can answer from my experience.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that they do this because AI, like not the agents, but AI tooling, really helps us. And when you use a lot of different tabs in your browser, it can be the problem for you to find where it is located. And when you have this application, you can just easily switch to the application. So that's why I install PWA on my machine, because you can always easily find where this window is on your machine, and you can easily switch to it.
Yes, totally agree. Instead of just finding or proceeding to this application, you just quickly open it and ask something. That's faster, quicker, and more chances that user will use this. And additionally, they have their additional paid models, so you can pay for them and use them. So in my opinion, that's a cool market to also market other users.
Sounds interesting. But by the way, maybe if they launched a desktop app, if you talk not about only some the more convenient ways to use it, maybe Gemini prepares any huge update, for example, that Gemini can work with your Mac or PC, I don't know, and do some things. For example, like MetaMuse Spark done.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Maybe you have
They
some
just-
insights.
Yes, previously I remember they added Circle to Search on iOS, and right now they added Gemini. So that's really great news just to use. Maybe someone found something more interesting.
Okay, maybe I can share, for example, a little bit more about cars and AI. So the news about Waymo's final boss, the London expansion. So again, the backdrop of rapidly growing AI technologies, it's hard to surprise anyone with like self-driving robots, even if they are cars. So, for example, in the USA, this is actively used in military forces, and I know in logistics sectors like trucking. So, but what if we a self-driving taxi is released onto the crowded and narrow streets of London. Let me share my screen. Wait a moment. So, unlike the wide roads in the USA, London streets are much narrow, have a complex intersection and unpredictable movement of pedestrians and cyclists. So currently, the cars operate, these taxi cars operate in a mode where the system actively controls the movement. So robot got a self-driving, but a trained operator must be behind the wheel for safety. So the Waymo aims to teach the software not to follow the rules. They try to adapt to the fact that the other users can break these rules. So my question is Waymo is teaching its software to adapt people who break the rules. Maybe we have a risk that AI will also learn how to cut off other drivers just to arrive on time like a real taxi drivers. What do you think, drivers?
It's possible, but I'm not sure that they could do that. Maybe they have some rules that they need to follow, and they can go outside them only in critical situations. So if AI start to think like, "Hey, I need to hire a driver as soon as possible due to flight," so maybe this will happen. Like, hey, a lot of police, a lot of other cars are trying to catch this Waymo taxi, and this passenger just outside said, "Hey, I am out. I don't know what's happened." Just by itself.
But don't you believe that such AI drivers, it is absolutely unsafe, even if they learned for 100% with the streets and the traffic? Um, I'm not sure that I will pay for such driving for such driving, not just for fun, you know.
There is an interesting question in this case. You are not safe when you, give the ability to AI to deliver you from one point to other point. But when you just call a standard regular taxi, are you sure that the driver that comes to you is good enough to do the same?
I'm not sure, absolutely. Even I'm not sure when I'm driving the vehicle, but it's me. The driver is driver, but it's a robot who drives with real people on the road. So for me, it's maybe some scaring thing.
A friend of mine bought a Tesla, and he had this AI driving assist that completely drives from A point to B. And he tried this feature with auto parking, and he said, never ever again. On turns, it just start to move faster. Sometimes when it sees that somewhere is danger, it can just accidentally stop or drive faster. And he said, I started to feel that I'm really in danger. The steering wheel is moving in different directions. Immediately acceleration and immediate start. He said like, no, never again. But it's really cool that it works.
Wanted to ask you, because we have a lot of AI news and work with AI every day. So what is harder, teaching a model to write the code without errors, or teaching a machine to avoid childs on the scooter, for example, in a foggy London?
I would say that it is something with the similar complexity. And why? Because you should be able to analyze the situation. So, are you on the street or are you in the real code in the system? And in this case, your model should be good enough to provide a good result. So of course, when it comes to some small applications for small projects, maybe pet projects or something like this, in this case, yes, it will be easier to train the model to write the code. But if we are talking about some enterprise-grade application, I would say that this is something similar. But there is always a price of a mistake, and in this case, of course, writing the code is much easier task, because if you just write the code using AI model, nothing happens. I hope nothing happens, but when it comes to the situations on the street, the result of the mistake is much higher. So that significantly impacts the complexity of the task. At least you know like how to test this. So in the first
Now try not London, but try Mumbai, for example. Yeah.
don't try Mumbai at all.
I think AI providers would refuse to support this feature on Mumbai roads.
Yeah, but we can have really complex logic in our applications. Let's say, okay, is it more complex task to write the code in this autopilot than, like train the model of this autopilot? Because we can generate the code for the same system that is used in these self-driving cars. What is harder?
First message when you sit in this car, I've trained in it for speed, so be ready. The drive would be fun.
By the way, Yevhen said about like the price of the mistake, and I got a question in my mind, that a question to Waymo. So hope they understand that the price of the mistake is totally uncountable, I guess. So for such companies who provide like such AI driving cars, so I believe that Waymo is not the only one company who do this. It is like maybe heroic foolishness or really big ambitious to provide such technologies and such business, because as Ivan said, if you get maybe one mistake, you can pay million of dollars for each. So how they decided to run such business, it's really risky, and I can imagine what would be happened if such mistake would happen.
I think they calculate the insurance for this really precisely and understand how much money they can earn and how much money they will pay for the mistakes. But I'm not sure. I've never been in such situation, but
money.
I can imagine.
It's about reputation. It's not about money. So if your reputation is becomes zero because your car killed a child, so sorry, you can't earn more money. So maybe you don't have any chance to get a mistake.
I read some news about like when the situation is critical, AI informs you, and some people who are in the office are take their driving by themselves. So, for example, some unexpected situations happened, don't know how to handle. They have the steering wheel, other pedals, and they just drive by themselves, like people involvement. So maybe self-driving is not completely self-driving.
Maybe interesting. But
yeah, and
I don't have
there is
any
actually
thoughts
there is actually another point of view here. What does Uber if their real driver kills someone on the road? The same here.
It's responsibility
there
of the
is,
driver, but not of the company. So if the Bolt driver killed somebody, it's not a Bolt responsibility. But if Waymo's AI kills somebody, it's a Waymo's responsibility. I believe.
would
Maybe.
read the agreement. I would read the agreement.
Okay.
Maybe the passenger would be a killer, according to this agreement. Yeah.
Uh, okay, it's like your Tesla autopilot break the rules. You're still responsible for it. Okay.
Okay, let's one more news that is more interesting from every side, and let's finish. Oleg, quantum computer Oleg.
Yeah, actually, I talked a lot of quantum computers. Yeah, we can actually discuss this article. So regarding the new advances, I took some parts of it from here regarding the Peter Shore and the visualization of the Eiffel Tower that you can see here, but the one of the tips here is that previously people suggested that we need too many atoms of this quantum of qubits, of qubits to like to break currently existing algorithms. So like 20 million here, like it was in 2019, only 7 years ago. But last year, this Google researcher, he said that we don't need 20 million qubits. Yeah, we need fewer than a million qubits. And that is something that current researchers are really close to, because currently computers have like this 500,000 qubits. Yeah, and the question is really like some people say like it would be 20 after 2030. Some people say like it will be like by 2029. But some people say that these organizations may finish it like this or next year, and they may not tell the world about it. Yeah. They will because they will have a cutting edge technology. It will be sufficient not only for them like organizations, but it will be sufficient for the intelligence of the countries, because you can gain access to the secret information of other country. Yeah, for example, if we are talking about Google and IBM, so American intelligence will have access to, for example, Russia's or China's data, secret data, which is encrypted, and they can decrypt it really easily. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they will keep it in secret for some time to like get this technological advance, and I'm not sure whether it is something that can be easily copied and scalable from other countries, because quantum computers, it's something physical. Yeah, you need technologies to develop it. And in case of AI, as China did, yeah, they try to like learn from this model and try to copy some models that existed initially, and after that they investigated it and invested like billions of dollars to make their own Chinese AI. Yeah, and by the way, there was some piece of news that China rejected buying one of their AIs for $2 billion from Meta company. So I don't know. Let's see when we will have enough power of quantum computers. Will those countries that gain this technological advance, will they share it with other countries, or they will use it as some superpower? How do you think?
I believe in modern society and modern world. I can't imagine the situation that some country can't share technologies with other countries, because maybe we have a lot of spies and inaccessible information sharing. So even if we talk about some quantum computer technologies, I think every country who want to do this, every like first world country like China, America, can steal technologies. I believe.
Well, I have a great marketing idea, like gaming quantum computers now with RGB.
Also, wanted to ask you. You said that, for example, if company got a quantum computer, they can steal encrypted data from other countries. Can we imagine that we can protect our data with also quantum computers, like quantum computer versus quantum computer? Can that works?
Actually, there are existing algorithms which are called post-quantum computer algorithm, and using which, even with our currently existing computers, we can protect our data. But the tricky thing here is that mathematically, those algorithms are not breakable with quantum computers. Yeah, but there can be a thing that the developers of this algorithm, they put some backdoor for these algorithms that some specific, like special intelligence forces can use to decrypt it easier. There was a case with like in 90s with one of the algorithms. It was an American standard. I don't remember the name, but the thing was that intelligence asked the authors to put a backdoor in the algorithms so they could easily read everything when they want. Yeah, and when it came out to the publicity, yeah, definitely they changed the standard, but who knows? Who knows?
I think if you are interested in this, in the evolving of this technology, you should find some way to use this in drones, and Ukraine will do something really interesting with this in not even years, in months or even days.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's share. Who wanna share maybe something interesting, or should I share?
I think I can do this because the topic is something that really impacted a lot of people, I would say, the whole internet. So a few weeks ago, there was an attack on one of the most used packages for front-end development and back-end, actually, on Node.js technology. The package is called Axios, and I've just checked on my PC a few products, and each of them has this package. And again, the interesting part is not that this package is compromised, but how it is compromised. So here is a thing that is totally related to social engineering. So this Jason Simon, who is the author of this package, he was involved into some discussions with how he thought with the company, and he was added to the real Slack. This real Slack had a lot of information, a lot of discussions, a lot of people involved. Something active was happening in this thing, and he was, sure that this is the real company, etc. After some time of again discussions inside this Slack channel, there was like set up Teams meeting. And when he tried to connect to this Teams meeting. Something was not working, and these people from this company shared with him something like add-on to Teams meeting. Again, the person who is in the Slack, a lot of people there, the real topics are discussed, the huge history of this Slack channel, Slack organization actually, and channels. He was not aware of what is really shared with him, and he installed this. And the idea of this was to install on his local machine the virus. So how it is called? Remote access Trojan. And what happened? This virus was able to enumerate everything happening on his machine. I mean the file system. It was able to read all the files, and this so-called organization just steal his npm token. So they were able to just release the package without him knowing about this. And here, what is interesting from this situation, all of us, heard about the situations when cyber crimes happening with people who are not so into computer science. But we should be aware again, because even the producers of so popular libraries are also the victims of these attacks, and unfortunately it even happens. So here you can find the information about what really happens, and you also have the timeline of if you install the package between this and these time points. You should do a lot of things to make your computer secure, because again, if you've done this after installation of this package, this virus is written on your PC and allows attackers to steal, let's say, all of your credentials on your machine. For example, AWS credentials, Git credentials, NPM is in this case. So it is a real problem. And if you've done this, just check when you install this Axios package. And this is, again, this is interesting from the standpoint of even really technical people are also attacked, and even technical people sometimes provide them, the attackers, the ability to do something really harmful for the overall internet. Because again, Axios is I would say one of the packages that is installed, one of the first things for any of the JavaScript applications.
Yevhen, I see that the
Yep.
scams becomes on the next level. So again, as for non-technical guy, how to predict such situations? If you said that it looks like a real company, how maybe you can tell us about some signals and maybe red flags I can see before it will happen.
You should have paranoia, about security.
Yeah, that's the main idea. But in this particular situation, I would say that for me, it was an interesting thing that using Slack, they invite him to Teams meeting. So it is something, like not so popular, I believe, if you are working for one company. Because yes, in service business, it can be totally okay, because your company uses Slack, your client's company uses Microsoft Stack, anything is okay. But when you are added to Slack organization and someone wants you to install Teams plugin, it looks suspicious. and you should have a paranoia for this and double check everything happening, because this is something, like 20 years ago we've received a lot of emails about you won in the competition or something like this in lottery, and just give us some amount of money and take your car or house or something like this. And now I'm not sure if you know any people that do this, click this links or something like this. And this is some kind of competition. So once we have the ways of preventing this, attackers create something new. So here, Slack organization with the history, with something. Again, you are joining the organization, and there is not one person, or this organization was not created 2 days ago or something like this. It is a real organization, and you are in a complete trust to these people. But.
Paranoia sounds like a good name for such libraries that check security.
You said that there was a lot of people in Slack chats. I guess they're all victims, of this trick.
I would not tell this. I'm not sure where I found this information, but also this thing was marketed also as something related to North Korea. So I would not say that all of them are victims. Maybe again, it is something from their government, and they can create a real organization for this, like real organization. But I'm not sure. In the Post Mortem created by this guy, nothing about this.
Kim Jong-un was renamed to Peter Brown. Yeah, Slack notification.
Okay, let's share some latest news, and let's finish this podcast because we can talk a lot instead of work. So I wanted to share two more news, but I don't think that would be very interesting. For example, first of all, that's a new flagship Claude Opus model. 4.7, as you can see, everything is better benchmarks, etc., better responses, better knowledge, etc. But that's not really interesting what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about a new ChatGPT Images 2.0. They finally created this image generator, and it's very hard to believe that they are not real, because it generates from previous. It can generate photos, it can generate comics, and maybe you remember previously a huge problem with this image generator that text would be was unreadable. But right now that's the fixed. And I believe we can discuss and finish this podcast with some music that Roman should enable. And additionally, let's discuss what do you think about. Yes, let's watch some images.
How many fingers it draws for the pictures?
5.
5? That's a huge and great news.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually, like the situation when how people say, like, we wanted AI to have our some routine, like laundry and like washing the dishes, instead of us to have more time for creativity. But instead, AI took all the creativity, so now we have more time for laundry and washing the dishes. We've gone the wrong way. Yeah, the question here is, I think, like, regarding the legal, if people like create this AI content, who is the owner, of this content? Is it the AI, or is it free, or is it the person who created this AI image? Because potentially it is like something repeatable, generatable. Yeah, not repeatable, but generatable.
I think we need to read this in agreement of Waymo. Who is the author? Who has the rights of this?
Maybe.
Because for me it is also interesting because these images can be really generated from someone's real intellectual property, and in general it is not something that I as a person who generated this I used, but yes, it can be a simple change or something similar, and I believe in the next few years we will hear about a lot of different like situations when the real people will like call police that someone steals their information and uses for AI, for example, for music, for images, for I don't know what else, for cinemas or something like this.
Sorry, Vladimir, can you get back for some like 3 or 4 images where we have this guy? Yeah, just up to yeah. I saw this guy somewhere, definitely.
Yeah, and this can be a real person, and this real person can also be not so happy that his avatar, I believe from Facebook or some other source, is used for these comics.
Maybe that's the creator.
Maybe he is really happy, but maybe not.
Maybe he agreed with agreement. that is
Maybe.
Have you ever read this huge text like, when users agreement, or you just click I agree with everything, let it go. No one reads? Okay, I got it. Your data is in danger. Okay, let's finish this podcast. Thank you for coming, everyone. I believe we could talk a lot about them. Maybe someone wants to share some goodbye words.
I hope it was interesting for you who will be watching this video, because we really put a lot of efforts to find something interesting for you.
Don't forget.
Just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Don't forget, subscribe.
Subscribe,
subscribe,
and share this video with your colleagues, your friends.
And don't agree with Waymo's agreements before reading it.
Subscribe, and quantum computers.
And quantum computers.
Quantum computers expert. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.